Since really the ultimate intent of this is to be a real kind of reality show, not that this is a reality show, but meaning that I want to share everything that's coming to mind because it could be something that is getting in your way. As I'm starting to do the projects that I'm working on, and also this project specifically, like creating the videos, there comes the question of how can I do it? What is that going to mean for me, for others? Like, is it going to be free on YouTube? Is it going to be in a platform and people would be able to subscribe? How is that going to work? And what comes to mind is really that it's going to be both. Like, I don't need to choose, but there is something very important that you need to know. And I think this can help you when you are creating your own product or your own business. So, first of all, of course, we need to differentiate. It's going to be different what we're going to get when we pay for something versus when we don't pay. The energy and things are different. And there are sometimes that there are some true gems in the world. There are things that aren't necessarily as expensive and like you would consider a fair price, but also it has a lot of positive energy and a lot of quality. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's not quality. And we've also seen it with brands that they create this massive brand and it's all about what they pay in advertising and everything, and the actual quality of the product and the energy that goes into creating that product isn't necessarily the best. So this is not a conflicting thing. This is not a thing when we say if it's bringing money, it's not going to work. It's not about that. It's all about energy. It's all about energy. So when you are pricing and when you are doing things, we need to understand two things. One, how much are you valuing your time and what you're doing? But then there's also the part that when I'm getting something, if I am not paying for it, I'm not getting the full energy that I can. In Kabbalah, this is called bread of shame. Basically, when we're getting energy that we are not ready to receive, when we're getting that, let's say that I walk into a millionaire or whoever and I want to ask them for advice, but I'm just expecting it for free. I had this very conflicting person that I have a group with different people that have agencies, and one of them was saying in a very, he was saying like people that expect that they want to pick your brain and for free, like that's an offense, something like that. He was saying something like this, and it is true to some extent. It's true, but not like that. It's not that. He was taking it way off proportion in saying that it was kind of like lack of respect and lack of many things. And we need to remember one thing, and with this it's exactly the same. When we are talking about, when we're talking about how, what is the energy that we're getting, and anything that we see in the world and how we're interacting with everything, this is just about us. This is not about anyone else. There's no one else in the process. No one else. It's just me. Everything is a reflection of what I need to work on, what I need to correct, what I need to overcome if I must. So this is a very difficult choice. And maybe if you're asking about this and you start to think, okay, it's not working, or, and I'm not saying that it's okay. So I'm not trying to say this is going to work for sure. I don't like those absolutes. It's going to depend. It's going to depend. Are you ready for it to work? Are you the person that need to be in order to have whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish by signing up on this? I don't know. That's a question for you. But there is one thing for sure. You're going to see this program and you're going to see two versions of it. I'm going to have it in YouTube and it's going to be free. People are going to be able to watch. There's going to be a very small subscription, perhaps. I don't know. I don't even know. I think it's going to be just free. And then there's going to be another option of a challenge that it's going to be hosted in NAS.io. And you're going to have the ability to subscribe to that. And then we are going to have more things like think tanks. You're going to be able to get one-on-one time once a week. You're going to get different aspects of it to really move towards your your journey, whatever the journey might be, particularly in the business side. If you come for something related to Kabbalah, I am gonna direct you to the Kabbalah Center. And but in terms of business, I'm gonna be there for you. So let's say that we're going through the concepts and you don't know how to monetize something, or how do you create revenue stream, any of the words that feel too daunting for you. If you're part of that subscription, of that community, the challenge, then you will get access to it. If not, you're going to be able to do on your own. I do not, I was, there is something in business that we call friction. What is the friction of doing business with you? And this is what's preventing people to come to us. So for example, if you are a small, or if you're a cafeteria or a store, like a physical store, there are some frictions to getting to you. One, I need to be in the area, or you need to have a parking space, or you need to have a place where people can sit. There are many different barriers in the way that get for that. And pricing, it's at times one of the barriers. And I do not like the intent of this. I want it to be way bigger than a pricing barrier. So this is what I'm thinking right now. I think that more and more people, there's so many people, so many great people doing amazing stuff, so that we have less time to be reactive, so that we have less, so that we could have more free time to become better humans. And the moment that we feel that I don't need to be in a survival mode, the easier it's going to be for me to think about other stuff. So that's really the intent. So I wanted to share, but also use it as a guide for you. If you are thinking about how can what is your ultimate purpose? I think at times we forget about what is the intent. So let's say that you have a nutrition business. I think about this a lot because I have a cousin that that is a great person that speaks about nutrition and things like that. Obviously, I don't necessarily follow her advice, but so for her, for sure, she's doing a lot of things regarding how do you overcome, or how do you transcend any part of your genetics. I think, like, how are you healthy, and what does that mean, and then how do you overcome that? So of course it doesn't mean that she needs to struggle, and of course it doesn't, like, we confuse at times that we put the calculation into what it is that the outcome needs to be. I'm not giving advice, and I'm not saying, I don't actually think that this should be for everyone. And perhaps this is not even going to stay as something that's going to be available for anyone. But the point being, just remember what is the goal, and don't, just keep that in mind. And by the way, this is a reality show, right? So I'm overcoming limiting beliefs. I'm not there yet. I had a teacher, and she said that belief system, we talk a lot about belief system, and she said that is really the acronym BS. That's BS. Meaning we get to overcome. It is BS. We get to buy it. We get to buy it, and we get to live our lives by it, and take it so serious that it becomes our life, but it doesn't need to be. So in that same point, I am doing, but one thing that it's important is I have led for so many times into the calculations of how this is going to be monetized. And because I love revenue streams, I love to think about that. I love to think about models, economic models and things like that. I just love those things. So when I have a spreadsheet, the only thing that was happening is that this kept the project into the world of thought, into the thinking part, and not into the action part. And I'm not going to get the light, and I'm not going to even define the light that I'm going to get. That being said, of course, I want to grow into a way that there is no limitations, but maybe there isn't. Let's see what's going to come. But I am sharing, even now that I started recording this, I was thinking, I don't want to post this. I don't want to post it. So I need to have a greater to keep on going, we need to have a greater, what could be we need to have a greater, we need to be part of something bigger. We need to be part of something bigger so that it makes sense that I do it regardless, regardless of my fears, regardless of the stuff that I don't think about yet, regardless of how I see the world right now, regardless of anything. I get to see and I get to do something differently because it's beyond me. Like, I'm the way that I see it, and I think this is life. I think this is life to everything, really, if we want to. But the way that I see it is, this is a bigger role than myself. This is not, and it's not because what I'm saying. I'm not saying any of this. I just think that being part of seeing different ways that we can be more in harmony and more in unity. And I think it is easier when we are not thinking, I'm frustrated because I really want to have a bakery and I don't know how, because the only way that I can see possible is that I need to rent a place and I don't have the money to rent the place. I don't have the limited, I have the limiting belief that the money's gonna, this is not, it's not hard. One of the projects, and I'm gonna get more into the projects that I'm working on because I want to share how do I start making them. And by the way, I do expect that people that are perhaps watching this, they know a better way. And if you want to share that way, that's amazing. The intent here is to create a place of how can we have deeper purpose into the world and into what we do and into our sustenance, into the sustenance of the world, and how, and the sustenance of the world that starts with us. It started with me and the people around me. There was this teacher in a podcast that said that even if I think and if I do and I'm giving this and I'm thinking about, like, I'm impacting the world and my whatever is reaching a million people. This is not me. I'm not reaching a million people. He's reaching a million people. And his kid is asking, come sit with me and watch Peppa Pig for an hour. And he's thinking, in this time, I would have the ability to touch a million people. Like, a million people, help them change their minds and be happier. It's not the same energy that he's going to be able to reveal by doing it with his kid than doing it, like, going into. And this is where I think that that is some of the secrets that once we have access to them, this is really cracking the code of life and humanity and transformation and really global peace. And I cannot miss out on this. This is not me being, this is just the way that I'm being part of that. There, if you look, if you start to look and if you start to see these things, you're going to see many people doing this. Let's see what happens.